This is a 4-string CBG lesson for the Wait by the band, and I'm going to show you how I play it. So we are in an open G tuning. Our low string will be a G. Next string D. Next string another G. And the high string will be a B. Alright, I'm going to show you the chords we're going to be using, and I'm going to show you how to play the intro. Okay, we're going to go down to the 2nd fret. We're going to play this A chord. We're going to fret the low G string, the D string, and the upper G string. You can also fret the B string if you want. I just like doing the lower 3 myself, so fret all of those together as a chord. Now we're going to do a variation of a C sharp minor chord. We're going to place our middle finger on the 6th fret on the D string, our ring finger on the 6th fret on the upper G string, and our index finger on the 5th fret on the B string. And you strike all 3 of those together as a chord. Now we're going to play a D chord. We're going to strike the D string open. We're going to place our index finger on the 2nd fret on the upper G string, and either your middle finger or your ring finger on the 3rd fret on the B string, and strike all 3 together as a chord. Okay, and now we're going to play an AG sharp chord for a 4-string open G. So we're going to place our middle finger on the 2nd fret on the low G string, our ring finger on the 2nd fret on the D string, and your index finger on the 1st fret on the upper G string, and strike all 3 together as a chord. And now we're going to do a F sharp minor 7th chord, or the best we can do on a 4-string open G tuning. We're going to place our index finger on the 4th fret on the D string. We're going to place our ring finger on the 6th fret on the upper G string, and your middle finger on the 5th fret on the B string, and strike all 3 together as a chord. I like to just bar all 3 of those together on the 4th fret, and then instead of just, you know, just fretting that one right there. Okay, that's the chords we're going to be. Well, we got an E chord. Place your index finger on the 2nd fret on the D string, your ring finger on the 4th fret on the upper G string, and your pinky on the 5th fret on the B string. Strike all 3 together as a chord. That's an E chord. Alright, I now I'm going to show you the beginning, and then I'm going to go through the progression of the chords. So we're going to go up to the 9th fret and place your index finger on the D string. Now we want to hammer on to the 11th fret on the D string. And now we're going to strike the 9th fret on the upper G string. But actually what I want you to do is, with your index finger, bar down the entire 9th fret. We're not going to be using the low G string, so just mute it and just keep it out of the way. But it's going to be easier to do this if you bar all of the upper 3 strings. We're going to hammer on, just like that. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go up to the 9th fret on the upper G string. And now we're going to hammer on to the 11th fret on the upper G string. Now we're going to take our middle finger, we're going to keep our ring finger on the 11th fret on the upper G string. We're going to take our middle finger and place that on the B string on the 10th fret. And strike both of those together as a chord. So it's going to sound like this. Just 3 strikes. 1, 2, 3. Slowly, the first one and the second one will sound like this. Now we want to go back to the upper G string on the 9th fret, hammer on to the 11th fret on the upper G string, and go back to the 9th fret on the upper G string. Just like that. So all 3 of those together will sound like this. Now we're going to go back down to the D string on the 9th fret. We're going to hammer on to the 11th fret on the D string. And right here we're going to strike on the 9th fret on the upper G string. Except we're not going to strike that as a single note. When we hammer on to the 11th fret, we're going to place our index finger on the 9th fret on the upper G string and strike that as a chord. And we're going to give it a real quick little slide. So all of that together very slowly. Just like that. And now we're going to go down to the 7th fret, and we're going to make a little chord, little 2-note chord. We're going to fret the D string on the 7th fret and the upper G string on the 7th fret. Just hold both of those down and strike them as a chord. And we're going to strike that once. And we're going to take our ring finger or pinky or whatever and hammer on to the 9th fret on the D string. Like. And continue to hit that upper G string when you fret it there on the 7th fret. Just like that, just the way we formed that little chord up here. The same way. We're going to hammer from the 7th fret on the D string to the 9th fret on the D string. Just like that, but we want to, when we strike that one, we want to strike both of those as a chord. And we want to do that twice, like this. And and then we're going to strike that chord once, like this. And all of that slowly will sound like this. And the reason for barring down the 9th fret, it helps you play it a lot more smoothly like this. So again, that part right there, slowly. Now we want to go down to the 2nd fret and form that same little 2-note chord on the D string and the upper G string. And the same thing we just did. We want to hammer from the 2nd fret on the D string up to the 4th fret on the D string. Twice, just like we did up here. But keep fretting the upper G string on the 2nd fret to form that as a chord. Whoops. On this one, I like to hammer the first one, and then I just like to strike the second one. And then that leads us right into the intro before the verse. So I'm going to play all of that slowly. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, for the verse and the little chorus, coming out of that, there's just a little quick count there, and they're just strumming the A chord. And then they go into the first verse where they start singing. So the way I play the verse is I do like 3 downstrokes and then 1 upstroke like this. And then I do a little little muted before I go into this little C chord. And I strum that the same way. Three down and 1 up. And then I go to the D chord. I just strike that 3 times, just real slow like. Do a down, up, and then another downstroke. And then I go back to the A chord and strum that a little more quicker. You can hear it in the song when you're playing along to it, and they start strumming that A a little quicker, but right before it goes back into the verse. Well, that's the singing verse, and they do that 4 times. So it'll be 4 times. I'm going to play it 4 times slowly for you, so you can play along. Alright, so you know, just play along with the song and the way I'm showing you how to play it, You can play along with most every version on YouTube. So just play along with it and get your own strumming feel to it, and listen to how they strum it, and just get your own feel for it, how you want to strum that. So just remember, it starts A, then it goes to A for the first part of the verse, to the C chord, to the D chord, back to the A chord, and then stay in the A chord to go back into the singing part. And on the fourth time, when they do the quicker little, right before they go back, right here we're going to go into the chorus. What we're going to do here is strike this A chord we've been playing one time, just like that. And now for the A G chord that I showed you earlier, one time. A G, and then go to the D. And when I go to the D, I just strike it one time, then I quickly strum it. And then it goes right back into that A chord, to the A G chord, to the D. And they do that 3 times. And right before you would go back into the A, on the 3rd D, we want to end it right there, and the last 2 strikes on that D, you want to emphasize those, like this. And just let it ring out, just hold it right there, and that's where they do their harmonizing vocals right there. And we're going to go to this other little part before you go back into the verse, and we're going to strike that A chord again one time. We're going to strike that A G chord one time. Now we're going to go up to that F chord I showed you earlier one time. The the E chord one time. And back to the D. I just strike that 3 times, the D. I just strike it, and then I emphasize 2, like at the end of the chorus. And then they go directly back into the verse. Okay, slowly I'm going to play through that, the chorus, and then the little part before you go back into the verse. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they're doing their harmonizing vocals. And right back into the verse. Alright, well that's the entire song, and what I'm going to do is, like I did at the very beginning, I'm going to play through the beginning. I'm going to try to do it about full speed. I'm going to play through the little beginning lick, and then through one part of the verse, and then to the chorus, and then end it with the little riff before he goes back into the verse. So, yeah, here we go. back into the verse.